You are not running out of time, you are leaking it. Every day you donate fragments of your life to distractions, obligations, and invisible thieves. The truth is simple. Time is not money. Time is power. And if you don't learn to command that power, someone else will. This audiobook is not about motivation. It's a manual for reclaiming your hours, rewiring your focus, and multiplying your results. You will learn to think in leverage, not minutes. You will stop renting your life by the hour. Starting now, you will own the clock. Chapter 1. Time is life. Stop renting it. The green light moment. Picture this. You're waiting at a red light. The dashboard glows, the engines around you hum, and everyone is restless in their own glass capsule of impatience. The light clicks to green. The car in front hesitates for a second too long, or maybe texting, maybe daydreaming. And you feel it, that pulse, that micro-rage, that voice inside saying, "Come on, move, I'm losing time." Your foot twitches, your chest tightens. It's as if a countdown has begun for your entire existence. Maybe you're the driver, maybe the passenger, it doesn't matter. For that heartbeat of awareness, you feel time physically leaving you, not as numbers on a clock, but as life draining through your fingertips. Then the car inches forward, traffic resumes, and the trance of routine returns. You flip to the next song, glance at notifications, maybe scroll a feed while waiting for the next signal. The feeling fades. Before we go further, pause this audio for 5 seconds and think. When do you personally feel that same panic, that sense of time slipping? While waiting in a queue? Sitting through a pointless meeting? Watching hours dissolve online? Type it in the comments right now. Naming the moment is how you begin reclaiming it. That tiny flash of frustration is not impatience, it's pure awareness. It's proof that your mind recognizes the scarcity of time before your routines bury it again. This chapter is about learning to hold on to that awareness, without needing traffic lights or anger, and using it to redesign how you live. Why we only notice time when it's leaving. Humans don't sense time passing, we only sense it leaving. That's why we feel it in traffic during deadlines or while waiting. Pressure compresses awareness, idleness dissolves it. Every app and alert on your phone is built to exploit that blindness. They steal seconds you don't even feel leaking. Each theft, tiny, together, years. The real cost of reaction. The tragedy isn't failure, it's never pausing long enough to choose. Think about a normal morning. Messages, breakfast, scrolling, commuting. Each act harmless. Add them together. Half your waking hours gone. 1 wasted hour a day equals 9 years of useful life. Lost, not at once, in installments. If a stranger asked to steal 9 years from you, you'd fight, but most people just hand them over. The traffic light philosophy. At the signal, time becomes visible. Red, yellow, green. When you can see time moving, you suddenly care. In regular life, the countdown hides. Bring it back. Place a visible clock where you work. Set short timers instead of open-ended sessions. When seconds become physical again, waste becomes uncomfortable. You control time best when you can feel it. The 1-week audit. Here's your first exercise. For 7 days, track your time. Every 30 minutes, jot what you're doing. By the weekend, color code it. Green, growth or joy. Yellow, maintenance or chores. Red, leaks, distractions, reactivity. Most people discover less than 30% green. That's your real score of living. Repeat the audit every few months. Awareness fades. Numbers don't. Time is capital. Money compounds when invested. So does time. 5 hours spent designing a system can save 50 next month. That's interest on time. Ask yourself often, is this an expense or an investment? Expense ends when the task ends. Investment keeps paying. Answer honestly, then act accordingly. The myth of someday. Once things settle, I'll start. That line has killed more dreams than failure ever did. Life never settles. Perfect traffic doesn't exist. You don't find time, you design lanes. Control what enters your lane first, or your calendar will fill itself with other people's journeys. Build micro green lights. 3 small hacks to stay conscious. 1. When you wake, 5 silent minutes before touching the phone. 2nd, first 90 minutes of work, no reactive tasks. 3. When you drift, recall that heartbeat from the intersection. Let it pull you back to motion. Feeling time is better than fearing it. The car and the driver. Most days you think you're driving your schedule, but check, who's really steering? Your phone, your boss, someone else's emergency? Owning your time means reclaiming the wheel. Direction before speed, purpose before movement. Even a slow car on the right road outruns a racer going nowhere. From impatience to intensity. That flash of anger at the slow car, use it. Redirect it inward. Let impatience for delay become impatience for stagnation. You don't need haste, you need intention. Convert that pulse into power. That's the real accelerator. You are not short of time. You are rich in hours, but poor in allocation. Every morning the universe gifts you 1,440 new minutes. By tonight you'll have spent every one. Spend them consciously. Borrow none. And remember, the green light has always been yours. Drive wisely. Chapter 2. The Law of Time. Leverage. Hard work built factories. Leverage builds freedom. Leverage means multiplying results without multiplying hours. It isn't laziness, it's intelligent architecture. A physical lever moves a boulder with one person's hand. Time leverage does the same for life. One leveraged hour can outperform 100 ordinary ones. Why linear effort? Eventually breaks. From childhood, we were told just one formula. Work harder plus work longer equals success. It worked when information moved slowly and output was physical. But today, people can produce global impact from a laptop. Someone records one tutorial and teaches 1 million learners while asleep. Another writes one piece of software that runs on 10,000 servers simultaneously. Hard work still matters, but now it competes against amplified work. If your achievements pause the moment you rest, you're a renter of time, not an owner. The opposite of leverage is dependency. The 4 rungs of leverage visualize a ladder with 4 rungs. The worker. Effort equals income. 8 hours of pay. Stop working, everything stops. The manager or contractor. You coordinate other people's effort. 10 people at 8 hours each equals 80 hours of output through your plan. A multiplier appears. The system builder or creator. Now you codify the process. Software, course, policy, machine. Work once. It performs forever. The investor or shareholder. Money, media, or intellectual property multiplies through networks while you sleep. Each rung adds another degree of separation between you and exhaustion. Climb deliberately. Input, not equal to output. In the industrial age, effort and reward were linear. In the digital age, they're exponential. 2 hours of high leverage work, like for example recording a piece of reusable training content, might equal 200 hours of meeting one person at a time. That's not theory, it's arithmetic. Ask before every task, greater than, will this hour continue to produce once I stop? If the answer is yes, keep it. If not, automate it, delegate it, or delete it. Examples of leverage everywhere. The teacher who filmed her best 10 lectures once now teaches whole countries. The coder who built a scheduling app eliminated 1 million repetitive emails. The designer who sells digital templates earns during meals and flights. The investor who shares wisdom through a weekly newsletter earns influence traffic while sleeping. None of them escaped work. They escaped repetition. The cultural pressure to look busy. Ask yourself, why do people feel guilty when things become easier? Because society still celebrates the exhausted. Adrenaline became morality. We think calm equals laziness and speed equals value. Leverage will often make you look too free. It confuses the hustle culture. You'll need quiet confidence to keep building systems while others perform business theatre, remember. The goal isn't to appear valuable, it's to create value that compounds invisibly. Micro leverage for daily life. Leverage doesn't require investors or giant teams. Any individual can expand impact using 3 simple forms. 1. Tool leverage. Use technology as muscle. Automation, macros, calendar integrations, template emails. Let computers handle the predictable so you can focus on the meaningful. 2. Knowledge leverage. Every lesson you document becomes a cloned version of your brain. Write standard operating notes, personal checklists, tutorials. Use that stored intelligence repeatedly. 3. People leverage. Share clear outcomes, not constant supervision. Empower others so their learning speed becomes your multiplier. Even a 5% rise in leverage each month doubles effective productivity inside a year. 2 workers. A short story. Imagine 2 friends, Maria and Dev. Both earn 50 units an hour. Maria does everything herself, files reports, books travel, repairs printers. She saves small costs but spends time. Dev outsources small chores, pays for automation, and uses those freed hours to design reusable proposals and training decks. After 1 year, Maria still trades effort for pay. Dev has built intellectual assets that sell themselves. 6 years later, Dev works less hours, and his systems fund Maria's next job interview. Harder isn't higher, smarter is sustainable. Finding your personal lever. Every skill hides a lever. Most people stop digging before they find it. Ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What task drains me because it repeats? 2. What tool, template, or tutorial could prevent that repetition? 3. What result could operate without my daily presence? The first solution that allows independence is leverage discovered. The next is scale. Start small, seed time, harvest freedom. Choose one project this week you can complete once but benefit from repeatedly. Create a resource folder. Write an answer document for a common client question. Record a 5-minute internal video explaining a recurring process. That single seed becomes a tiny employee. 100 seeds grow a forest of freedom. Because when your systems start producing even as you rest, you realize rest wasn't idleness, it was supervision by design. Leverage and energy. Real leverage protects mental bandwidth. Each repetitive task removed equals 1 degree of mental calm restored. When energy isn't consumed by maintenance, creativity rises. You trade exhaustion for intensity. Fewer tasks, greater presence. That's why highly leveraged people often appear serene. Their calm isn't privilege, it's process. Avoiding the trap of fake leverage. Automation isn't leverage if the algorithm traps you inside it. Posting 50 times daily on social media for reach might feel smart, but feeds endless maintenance. Real leverage always frees more future hours than it consumes today. Before adopting any new system, test this ratio. Greater than, does it give back more time than it costs to maintain? If not, it's not a system. It's another shiny treadmill. The math of freedom. Let's quantify. Assume you gain 2 hours daily by automating or delegating. 2 hours times 365 days equals 730 hours saved yearly. 730 hours equals about 18 work weeks. That's 4.5 months of recovered life before the first anniversary of consistency. Multiply that by 10 years. You've just manufactured almost 4 years of extra freedom. That's compound time interest. That's leverage. Hard work started the motion. Leverage keeps it moving after you rest. Use your brain the way engineers use hydraulics, small force, massive lift. Write it somewhere you can see it daily. Do the work once, so the work keeps working without me. That's the law of time leverage. Obey it early. And every future version of you will thank you for the extra hours bought today. Chapter 3. Boundaries and agendas protect your hours. Control doesn't begin with discipline. It begins with definition. A boundary is not a wall, it's a map. It tells the world where you end and where misuse of your time begins. If you feel constantly busy but rarely fulfilled, it's rarely poor planning, it's poor protection. The hidden tax on kind people. You don't lose time mostly to villains or crises. You lose it to politeness. Someone asks, got 5 minutes? They borrow 40. A friend says, join for lunch, it'll be quick. It becomes 3 hours of stories you didn't need to hear. The kind are easy targets for the unprepared. The world harvests their hours first. Every yes is a contract. Every time you say yes, you sign an invisible contract stating, I will give my finite life to this request. That signature deserves hesitation. Yet most people deliver yes as reflex, not decision. They fear appearing rude, but politeness that steals your focus is self-betrayal. Say no once, assertively, calmly, and you protect 1,000 future minutes. Think of no as a full sentence, never as a half apology. The guilt myth. Many equate boundaries with selfishness. In truth, boundaries create fairness. They allow genuine service instead of shallow compliance. If you spread your minutes too thin, you serve nobody well, not even those you wanted to help. Boundaries don't block generosity, they organize it. Remember, saying no to distraction is saying yes to direction. Define your agenda before the world writes one for you. An agenda isn't corporate jargon, it's daily intention. If you wake up agendaless, the loudest voices will assign their priorities to your day. Emails decide your morning. Notifications design your afternoon. Obligations devour your evening. By midnight, you've lived everyone's life except your own. Each morning, before anyone else's noise enters, spend 5 minutes scripting your core lane. 3 main tasks, 1 purpose, 1 reward. That's your agenda. Without it, all motion becomes reaction. 3 filters for protective time use. Before accepting any new activity, run it through 3 filters. Each yes must earn its place by passing at least one. 1. Profit. Does this task secure tangible value, money, skills, or network? 2. Pleasure. Does it genuinely refresh or excite you, not numb you? 3. Progress. Does it move you closer to the future you want? If none apply, it's leakage disguised as obligation. Repeat to yourself. Every hour must pay me, in money, meaning, or mastery. Politeness should cost. Seconds, not hours, respect people. Refuse inefficiency. I'd love to help, but I'm mid-project is courtesy, not cruelty. Those who value results will respect your focus. Those who vanish in offence were never allies, they were opportunists. Boundaries reveal people's truth faster than interviews ever can. Meetings, the graveyards of focus. Never agree to just talk. Every meeting, formal or friendly, requires a purpose, duration, and expected outcome. Otherwise, it's not collaboration, it's occupation. Ask before scheduling, what decision will this meeting produce? If the answer is vague, spread clarity by email instead. You've just saved an hour and often a friendship. The agenda as shield, real-world scenes. Imagine Lisa, a thoughtful engineer. Everyday colleagues drop by her desk for 2-minute questions. She obliges again and again. By evening, nothing on her own list is finished. One day she posts a visible schedule on her desk. Focus block, 9 to 11 a.m. When teammates arrive, they see it, most leave a note instead. Within a week, Lisa discovers she produces in half the time and earns reputation for reliability instead of availability. A simple agenda became armor. Then consider Aaron, a freelancer. He used to say yes to every project for networking. Then his energy collapsed. Now he filters each opportunity through one question, greater than, will this raise my hourly leverage next month? Half his previous invitations vanish. Income remains, sanity returns. That's the mathematics of boundaries. Your calendar reveals your integrity. Open your calendar right now, on phone or paper. Ask, does this page represent my values or my vulnerability? Busy weeks full of others' priorities are proof of fear, not importance. Courageous weeks show blank spaces reserved for thinking, learning, creating. That white space is where innovation happens. Don't cram it, guard it. The price of boundarylessness. Without protection, you become a 24-hour open portal for other people's wants. Every open door invites debris, opinions, drama, expectations. Soon you confuse their noise for your purpose and call the chaos life. That's not life. That's occupation by distraction. And distraction, sustained long enough, mimics defeat when permanent availability feels moral. Many were raised to believe that constantly helping equals goodness. But rescue isn't always help. Sometimes it enables. When people demand instant replies and constant presence, they aren't bonding with you. They're borrowing your attention as a painkiller for their own anxiety. You're not obliged to be anyone's emotional Wi-Fi. Disconnect gracefully. Consistency is respect. Boundaries work only when consistent. If you're firm today and flexible tomorrow, people learn indecision, not discipline. Decide your communication windows and then honor them ruthlessly. When you train respect through predictability, others adapt. 1 month of consistency rewires how people approach you. They'll start coming prepared because they know they get one window to use well. That's professional trust built through persona, Philip Mindful. Agenda as purpose lens. At day's end, a good agenda isn't just a to-do list, it's a to-be list. It asks, what kind of person am I training to be through today's choices? You don't manage tasks, you shape identity, one entry at a time. An agenda reflects character the way a mirror reflects face. Fill it mindfully. Practice. The 5x5 rule. To anchor this habit, try the 5x5 rule. Each morning, 5 minutes planning. List your top 5 priorities only, then pre-decide when to reject requests that don't fit those 5. At day's end, mark how many stayed protected. If you hit 3 out of 5 on average, productivity will double within a fortnight, because clarity cuts waste faster than motivation ever could. Emotional benefits of boundaries. The moment you establish limits, stress falls, sleep improves, creativity returns. Your mind stops rehearsing conflicts that never end. Boundaries don't reduce connection, they upgrade it. They filter your circle to those who value mutual growth. That's why the most peaceful people you know seem selective. They are. Selectiveness is an act of respect for life. From yes addict to strategist, a mini transformation week 1, audit every invitation you accept. Label each as profit, pleasure, progress or none. Week 2, remove 1 none every day. Free those hours for learning or rest. Week 3, strengthen your agenda. Decide what time belongs to you alone. Morning writing, gym, reading, silence, non-negotiable. By week 4, people begin noticing a quiet change. You look less available but more present, less tired but more impactful, because you've shifted from reaction to design. You don't protect time to avoid people, you protect it to serve people better. Politeness without purpose breeds resentment. Purpose with boundaries creates respect. Tomorrow morning, write your 3 tasks, guard them until they're done. Then watch stress drop by half and output rise by double. Remember this, if you don't set your agenda, someone else will write it in ink. Protect your hours, and you'll finally own your day. Chapter 4. Work that multiplies itself. Find your leverage and joy. We were trained to worship hard work. We admire the tired eyes, the late nights, the buzz of exhaustion, but very few stop to ask, hard for what? Effort is honourable only when direction is correct. Today you'll learn a more precise formula, how to work in a way that multiplies itself and still feels alive. The myth of hard work. For decades the slogan ruled, study hard, work hard, play later. But in truth, many who studied the hardest and worked the longest ended up more tired than fulfilled. Hard work without filtration simply manufactures fatigue. Hard work with direction manufactures mastery. When people say nothing beats hard work, they usually mean nothing beats effort aligned with joy, because without joy the mind resists repetition, and without repetition there is no greatness. Why joy matters more than mystery, scientists call it the flow state, the zone where challenge and skill are balanced just enough to erase boredom and fear. In that state, hours compress. Musicians forget meals, coders forget clocks, writers forget sleep. Energy loops on itself because the task becomes self-rewarding. You can produce 10 times more in that state than through forced diligence. Therefore, joy isn't luxury, it's efficiency disguised as emotion. Joy tells you where your natural leverage hides. The joy indicator. Here's a quick diagnostic. After finishing a task, ask, did I feel drained or charged? If charged, keep it, it's an accelerator. If drained, redesign it, delegate it, or delete it. Activities that expand focus, maintenance tasks, interactions or duties that shrink mood. Run this audit each week. Soon you'll see where life feeds you and where it feeds on you. Fatigue is feedback. It's the body whispering, you're misallocated. The 3 layers of effective work. To align joy and productivity, divide your labour into 3 layers. Layer 1, effort, physical and linear. You move hands, bodies, files, emails. Hard work lives here. It's measurable but finite. Layer 2, system, work that repeats for you. You build templates, automations, routines. You record knowledge so tomorrow feels lighter than today. Layer 3, inspiration, work that magnetizes others. Your energy and clarity inspire teams, clients, followers to multiply your impact. Layer 1 without Layer 2 burns out. Layer 2 without Layer 3 stagnates. Layer 3 without Layer 1 becomes ideology. True mastery cycles all 3. When hard work stops hurting. Think of athletes training. The first weeks hurt, stiff muscles, slow reflexes, then something clicks. Motion becomes music. Work turns into flow. No one tells them to train. They're drawn to it as pleasure. That moment, when work starts feeding instead of draining, is the signal you found the right lane. A chef lost in recipes, a teacher glowing in class, a developer perfecting logic at midnight. They don't want less work. They want only that work. When pursuit and peace merge, productivity takes care of itself. Leverage through joyful systems, real stories. Sarah, a digital artist, once painted commissions for individual clients. Each piece took 10 hours. Income was flat. Then she packaged her painting process into a digital course and sold it to thousands. She does the same expression now, but joyfully and freely. Or take Eddie, a fitness trainer. He used to demo each exercise for every client. Now he films a library once a year. Clients watch anytime. He invests the saved hours in next-level research. These aren't fairy tales. They're proof that hard work multiplies when anchored in joyful systems. Escaping the energy debt cycle. Work without joy creates a debt of energy. You borrow motivation from tomorrow to survive today. Eventually you go bankrupt. Burnout, resentment, cynicism. The remedy is simple. Deposit bits of joy into every routine. Turn music on during tedious tasks. Turn off notifications during creative ones. Collect small rewards for completion. A walk, a podcast, a conversation you enjoy. Joy and discipline are friends when introduced properly. The experimenter mindset. You won't find perfect joyful work on day 1. Treat life as a laboratory. Each project is an experiment testing 2 quantities, fulfillment and impact. Keep what scores high on both. Archive the rest without guilt. Even if only 20% of your tasks lift you, if they drive 80% of growth, concentrate there. That's Pareto's law applied emotionally. Progress is not about doing everything, it's about doing enough of what makes you come alive. From employee of time to artist of time, leverage isn't just economic, it's emotional art. When you design life around what energizes you, time bends differently. An hour in flow equals 5 in resistance. Start seeing your calendar as a canvas. Paint it with focused bursts, not grey blocks of obligation. Name projects like songs. Build, learn, connect. When your schedule sounds beautiful, execution follows. The science of meaningful fatigue. Don't fear tiredness. Fear meaningless tiredness. After significant work, fatigue feels like achievement. After futile work, fatigue feels like loss. Measure your days not by how tired you are, but by how satisfied that tiredness feels. Good fatigue is fuel from progress. Bad fatigue is tax for direction missed. The joy-leverage equation, impact equals effort times, leverage times enjoyment. Take away enjoyment equals zero, and impact vanishes no matter the effort. That's why people with smaller energy but deeper love for their work outperform grinders burned by boredom. Love extends battery life. Turning joy into momentum. Joy without structure wanders. Structure without joy breaks. Blend them with ritual. Define anchor blocks when you predictably enter flow. Same time, same place, same condition. Protect those as sacred appointments with your best self. After a month, the brain associates that pattern with immersion. Those hours become your personal green lights inside the week. You won't need discipline then, you'll need permission to stop. Joy and money, the real economics one. Fear holds people back. If I follow joy, I might earn less. But profit is rarely from pain. It's from perceived value. People sense energy through your work. A joyful voice sells more than a tired one. A joyful product attracts loyal users. Follow joy not to avoid effort, but to ensure effort becomes magnetic. When your output radiates enthusiasm, income follows like heat follows fire. From hard to smart to joyful. The evolution of work goes through 3 stages. 1. Hard work discipline builds skill. 2. Smart work systems and leverage multiply. Skill. 3rd. Joyful work alignment sustains skill forever. Hard gets you started. Smart gets you efficient. Joy makes you unstoppable. Stop at any earlier stage and you'll oscillate between burnout and boredom. Mini exercise, the joy inventory. Take 10 minutes tonight. List the last 10 activities that made you lose track of time. Now underline the 3 that also benefited your future. Career, health, relationships, growth. You've just mapped the intersection of joy and leverage. Your goal is simple. Expand that intersection weekly. Joy does not mean easy. Sometimes joy includes pain. Artists struggle through blocks, athletes through muscle burn, but underneath the pain is purpose. It's the difference between agony and intensity. Pain with meaning is sustainable. Pain without meaning is waste. What looks like grit on the outside feels like devotion on the inside. You don't need to rage against work, you need to rearrange it until it smiles back. Effort plus joy equals longevity. Leverage plus joy equals freedom. Stop chasing the dream of less work. Chase the design of better work. Repeat this line whenever you feel drained. When the work feels holy, time feels infinite. That's the secret of work that multiplies itself. Find it. Guard it. Grow from it. Chapter 5. Understand jealousy. Take control of your life. Jealousy isn't evil. It's information. It's the alarm bell that rings when attention drifts beyond your control. Ignore it, and it poisons you. Understand it, and it becomes one of the most accurate dashboards of your inner life. This chapter will teach you to read that alarm instead of running from it. Why we envy. You scroll through a feed and someone just landed a new job. Another friend posts the keys to a new car. A stranger films a life that seems permanently golden. For a split second you feel that mix. Admiration tied to ache. That's jealousy. It appears weak, but it's actually diagnostic. It tells you exactly what you value but haven't yet built. In that sense, jealousy is clarity wearing an unpleasant mask. The circle of control. Everything in life falls into 2 circles. Inner circle, things you control. Your habits, your learning, your attitude, your output, your health, your response. Outer circle, things you don't control. Other people's opinions, promotions, luck, timing, the economy. Jealousy thrives in the outer circle. The moment you feed energy there, life begins to feel out of control. The moment you redirect to the inner circle, power returns. Remember this rule, spend 90% of energy where influence exists, and only 10% where it doesn't. The unhappy reverse these numbers daily. Life feels out of control when you chase what you can't command. Look at the pattern. Someone gets more recognition, you get frustrated. But recognition sits in someone else's hands. You can't legally manage their applause. However, you can expand your skill until applause becomes mandatory. Mastery forces attention. Resentment only requests it. So whenever jealousy rises, say quietly to yourself, this reaction means I care about mastery, not them. Then act within your circle, the office and the pyramid. Picture a classic office, politics everywhere. People argue over who gets the corner desk, who gets the bigger printer, the better chair. That's the bottom of the pyramid, many people fighting over micro advantages. The higher you climb, the fewer competitors. At the top are the ones diversifying skills, not desks. They've left the pyramid entirely and built new systems somewhere else. The lesson: when the competition feels suffocating, the problem isn't your talent. It's that your world is too small. Expand the syllabus of your life. The syllabus problem. Teachers complain about promotion lists. Doctors quarrel over hospital hierarchy. Professionals everywhere measure worth by the borders of one institution, but the borders were drawn by someone else decades ago. You don't need permission to redraw them. Write your own syllabus, the subjects you want to be graded on. Include health, finance, communication, design, relationships, creative output. When your syllabus diversifies, comparison dies. Because jealousy can't cross disciplines. You respect yourself too much, learning too many things to worry about one scoreboard. Becoming a source of value. There are two ways to win admiration: ask for it or attract it. The first is fragile, the second is inevitable. Attraction happens when you become quietly useful, when people benefit just from standing near your energy. It begins with a simple habit. Add knowledge to every space you enter. Know the tax rule, the market trend, the health tip, the design hack, something that improves others' decisions. Be the walking value add and jealousy loses its oxygen. Because how can you resent anyone when everyone benefits from your presence? You were built to contribute, not compare. A short story on control. Ria worked in a corporate team obsessed with recognition. Promotions were unpredictable. Politics were thick. She decided not to play the gossip game. Instead, every morning she arrived 30 minutes early, read industry news, summarized key updates for her team, and shared them. No fanfare. 6 months later, she became the go-to source for clarity. Her boss relied on her briefings. Peers respected her insight. Her title hadn't changed yet, but control of her environment had. She moved from attendee to authority. That's what inner circle focus does. It converts waiting into creating. How jealousy wastes time. Jealousy is an invisible tax on cognition. It occupies mental background processing the way too many apps slow a phone. While your brain replays the unfairness of someone else's success, your own progress idles. The recovery from that drain can take hours, and because we rarely notice the cost, we pay it daily. Here's a test. Each time you feel envy, ask, how long will I let their win distract me from my work? Then start a timer. That number measures emotional maturity more accurately than IQ ever could, redirecting the emotion. You can't kill jealousy by denial, only by redirection. Step 1. Recognize quickly. Say internally, this emotion is self-comparison. Step 2. Translate it. What skill do they demonstrate that attracts me? Step 3. Schedule a small action toward that skill within 24 hours. Jealousy ends when curiosity begins, because once you start learning, admiration replaces resentment. Action converts envy into evolution. Building a reservoir of value. Think of every new skill or insight as water added to a private reservoir. At first it seems pointless. No one thanks you, no one watches. Keep storing. Soon others start to thirst. They'll come looking and you'll realize your quiet preparation made you the source. You can distribute ideas, mentor, invest, create products, water others while staying full. That's wealth, not just money, but the stored capacity to help on demand. When jealousy becomes compassion. Once your reservoir overflows, you see jealousy differently. You recognize it in others gently. You see the same ache you once felt. You no longer compete, you coach, and life flips from zero-sum to positive-sum. That's the emotional graduation. You move from why them to how can we both grow? Real power never humiliates, it elevates. The 2-column exercise. Take a sheet tonight, draw 2 columns, left side, beyond my control, right side, within my control. Write everything that stresses you, bills, bosses, breakups, opinions, sort them honestly. Now focus the next 7 days exclusively on the right column. Anything in the left is not your battleground. You'll notice peace return, not because life changed, but because your attention obeyed geometry. Peace is design, not accident. The knowledge advantage. Remember the line from earlier chapters. Leverage compounds through knowledge. Jealousy evaporates the moment superiority in knowledge reverses its direction. Study your field 20 minutes a day. Read what competitors ignore. Soon the environment will look at you the way you looked at others. That's the cleanest revenge on envy. Excellence. Emotional minimalism. Decluttering the mind works the same as decluttering a room. Start throwing away unnecessary comparisons. If someone's win doesn't teach you, mute it. If a metric doesn't serve you, delete it. You don't need fewer influencers, you need fewer influences. Minimalism isn't about less possession, it's about less preoccupation. When respect feels automatic, the more centered you become, the more respect arrives uninvited. People can smell equilibrium, they trust it. Instead of demanding validation, you start radiating calm. In meetings, at home, even online, that silence of certainty becomes power. Because while others chase attention, you control its source, focus. A 1-minute recentering ritual. Whenever jealousy flashes, pause, breathe through your nose, slowly out through your mouth, say internally, return to my circle. Then do one action from the right-hand column of your control list, something small but directed. That ritual rewires envy into agency within 30 seconds. Jealousy isn't proof you're broken, it's proof you still care about growth. The only mistake is staring outward instead of inward. Redirect that energy and it becomes drive. Stop hating that emotion. Hire it. Let it point where attention actually belongs. Remember this mantra. Focus where I have command. Surrender what I cannot. Keep creating. The person you envy today may one day thank you for the inspiration, but more importantly, the person you become will thank you for the control. Chapter 6. Dash urgent versus important, the decision filter. Most lives collapse not from lack of time, but from confusion about what deserves it. Urgent always screams, important only whispers. Today you'll learn how to hear the whisper again, because in a world addicted to speed, calm clarity has become a superpower. Welcome to the age of false emergencies. Every ring, ping, and buzz claims immediacy. Someone's message flashes red. Need your help now. Another notification pretends to define your survival. But here's the paradox. 90% of what bursts into your attention is urgent only to someone else. If you don't filter the noise, you live as a full-time emergency responder for other people's chaos. You can look incredibly busy and still move nowhere. Understanding the two forces urgent tasks demand immediate reaction. Deadlines, calls, alarms, messages. They create adrenaline spikes and the illusion of productivity. Important tasks produce future stability. Health, learning, planning, relationships, creativity. They whisper quietly because they rarely expire in an hour. Urgency protects the present, importance builds the future. Both have roles, but the wise decide which deserves prime time. Without that separation, you'll keep winning the day and losing the decade. The Eisenhower Matrix, the simplest decision tool you'll ever use. Draw a box divided into 4 squares. Make 2 columns. The things which are urgent and the things which are important. These are do it now, real crisis. For example, client deadline due today. Is it urgent? Yes. Is it important? Yes. Similarly, other examples includes urgent financial payment, house water leak, server outage. These all are urgent and important. Quadrant 2. These are the things which are important but might not be urgent. Schedule and guard these. Like exercise, spending focused time with family or a partner, doing preventive medical checkups or financial planning. Quadrant 3. The things which are urgent but might now to be important. Pass it on or systematize them. Like social media DMs that aren't work critical, errands someone else can handle like picking up dry cleaning or groceries others could deliver. Replying instantly to every group chat message, accepting every social invitation out of guilt. Urgent but not important is everyone else's emergency disguised as yours. Quadrant 4. These are neither urgent nor important, so cut them off ruthlessly. Examples includes endless social scrolling, gossip threads, binge watching out of boredom, arguing online, refreshing news feeds for the 10th time, attending meetings with no purpose. Quadrant 4 activities cost the same currency as dreams, time. Spend fewer minutes here, buy back your life. The aim is not to live forever in Quadrant 1 like a firefighter, but to build life inside Quadrant L, the zone of important yet not urgent. That's where health is built, relationships deepen, and creativity births leverage. The treadmill illusion. Many mistake speed for success. The treadmill runner feels motion. Progress remains zero. Open most calendars and you'll see it. Meetings stacked edge to edge, inbox refills, errands, minor favors. At week's end, exhaustion high, achievement vague. That's a sign of chronic urgency addiction. Urgency creates emotional sugar highs. Each completion feels like victory. Long-term priorities starve quietly. Measuring the hidden cost of urgency. Write down the last 5 things you rushed to fix. Now ask, did any produce lasting change? Probably not. Because urgent work rarely compounds, it resets daily. Maintenance masquerades as mission, and too much maintenance blocks reinvention. Real success stories emerge from Quadrant 2, long-term, slow, deliberate projects that kept being ignored until someone persisted quietly while the world shouted. Weekend example, the domestic trap. Picture this. You've worked all week. You want Saturday to be revitalisation day, but household errands declare emergencies, relatives, shopping, chores, social visits, all urgent, none deeply important. By Sunday night, you've nursed everyone else's timelines but not your own growth, and Monday begins exactly where last week ended. To fix this, allocate a protected window each weekend, 2 hours minimum, devoted only to your personal projects or pure rest. Guard it like a board meeting. Even if nothing catches fire, that boundary keeps your life from quietly burning out. Outsource the urgent where possible. Delegation isn't luxury, it's arithmetic. If a task costs less than the value of your hourly focus, outsource it. If a plumber can fix faster, pay him. If a driver saves 90 minutes of frustration, hire him twice a week. The goal is not saving money but buying time. You can earn money again. Time once spent never reappears. Learning to say later instead of yes. Not everything deserves an instant answer. Later is a diplomatic boundary. It tests whether requests still feel relevant after emotion cools. You'll be amazed how many issues solve themselves in the waiting. Urgency robs perspective, delay restores it. From now on, before responding, breathe and ask, greater than, if this waits 1 hour, will anything real collapse? If not, it's drama, not danger. The metric that fixes everything, the real run rate. Sports make targets explicit. A cricket team knows runs required, overs remaining, rate needed. Most people live with 0 metrics for life. They don't know current velocity or target pace. Set simple run rates, hours learned per week, workouts per week, meaningful conversations per week. When you track rhythm instead of raw movement, trade-offs become clear. You recognize which urgencies can be dropped without guilt because the scoreboard reveals pattern. Anything measurable can improve, the rest only worries you. How to reprioritize a chaotic day. Step 1, list everything demanding attention. Step 2, label each U for urgent or I for important. You may double mark both. Step 3, deal first with U, I, both urgent and critical. Step 4, next, schedule I only, are the true builders. Step 5, delegate you without I, someone else's chaos. Step 6, delete neither you nor I, background noise. 10 minutes of sorting can save 10 hours of spinning. The psychology behind urgency addiction. Urgent tasks feed dopamine. They give you proof you exist. Answering calls, replying fast, crossing items feels productive. Important tasks are slower payoffs. They demand humility, no immediate applause. That's why many avoid them. Replace instant validation with internal validation. Measure progress by traction, not attention. You don't need the red light of crisis to feel alive. How to make important tasks stick. Turn them into rituals. Schedule them as if they were client meetings. Treat health, learning, or creative Fridays as non-negotiable. Time doesn't appear, it's reserved. By converting priorities into appointments, you eliminate argument from willpower. A true professional protects personal growth time with the same ferocity used to protect revenue meetings. Deagentizing your environment. Physical spaces trigger urgency too. Keep reminders visible for priorities, hide temptation for reaction. Disable pop-up messages, batch notifications twice daily. Design your work area to whisper, create, not respond. Even color affects urgency. Softer tones, calm, red accents accelerate. Use design as discipline when motivation fades. When everything feels important. If everything looks vital, zoom out. Life has seasons. Right now, perhaps career dominates. Later, health or family. The mistake is chasing excellence in every domain every day, a recipe for constant self-blame. Pick 2 arenas per season to go all in on. Maintain the rest at good enough, rotate focus quarterly. That's strategic variety, not mediocrity. Links to previous lessons' boundaries limit external interference. Agendas design the battlefield. Now the decision filter protects moment-to-moment choices. First you learned how to say no, now you learn when to say yes. That simple difference, sequence before speed, is the edge 99% of people lack. From urge to urgent. Notice the spelling. The root of urgent is urge. An urge is an emotion that has convinced itself of necessity. Every ping is an urge asking for your life. Question it. Some urges evolve into meaning. Most expire into regret. Weekly reset, the quadrant reflection ritual. At the end of each week, 1. Draw the 4-part matrix on paper. 2. List all tasks you completed. 3. Mark their quadrants. 4. Notice where your hours truly went. You don't need fancy apps, just this simple exercise of honesty. If 50% fell into quadrant 2, you're on the path to compound peace. If most are quadrant 1 or 3, you're living on alarm mode. Adjust accordingly next week. Awareness is always half the repair. From busyness to business of living. A business earns revenue through strategy, not panic. Apply that logic to your life. Profit measured in calmness, clarity, and growth. The day isn't meant to be filled, it's meant to be fulfilled. You'll never eliminate urgency, but you can domesticate it. Make it serve importance. Pause before every activity and ask, greater than, is this keeping me busy or building me? The answer determines your future far more than discipline alone. Remember this sentence when life feels crowded. Urgency screams, importance whispers. The wise train their ears for the whisper. That training begins today. Chapter 7. The 10/50/100 formula. Declutter your mental network. Your brain is not a hard drive. It's a living network with a storage limit. Psychologists call it Dunbar's number. The average human can maintain meaningful connection with about 100 to 150 people. Past that, names blur, attention fractures, and anxiety grows. The 10/50/100 formula turns that science into strategy. It teaches you how to organize every connection in your world so your time, focus, and energy stop leaking into endless conversations that go nowhere. Why you feel socially exhausted, even when you love people. Most people today maintain more conversations in a week than their grandparents had in a year. Your focus is a currency. You spend it on replies, posts, meetings, and emotions. Even friendship can bankrupt you if you never track withdrawals. When you feel drained yet oddly lonely, it's not that you hate people, it's that your network exceeds your nervous system. The 10/50/100 formula puts that chaos on paper and gives you back control. The 10/50/100 breakdown. Imagine 3 circles expanding outward from your center. Inner 10, your core circle. These are the essential people, your immediate family, partner, closest friends, or mentors. They shape your emotions and daily environment. They are your energy generators. Middle 50, your active network. Colleagues, clients, teammates, extended family, peers you collaborate with often. They exchange value with you, skills, ideas, projects, laughter. Outer 100, your broader orbit. Acquaintances, distant peers, online followers, community members. You interact occasionally. They form your social horizon, but not your daily diet. Beyond that 100, connections become statistical, not meaningful. They're names you recognize but never reach out to voluntarily. And yet you still spend brain power tracking them. The exercise, step by step. Take a quiet evening, a notebook, and 1 hour. Write down up to 150 names of people you regularly see, message, or think about. Don't rush. Then label each with its circle, 10, 50, or 100. When you finish, you'll see something remarkable, your life's ecosystem in numbers. Now add symbols next to each name. -P for positive influence, productivity or peace. -T for toxic influence, drain or drama. The first few minutes of honesty may sting, but clarity always precedes change. The energy audit analogy. Imagine you're a runner carrying sandbags. Each toxic contact adds 5 kilograms to your legs. Now picture yourself trying to sprint. That's why goals feel heavier than they should. Not because you lack discipline, but because you carry too many unexamined weights. The 10/50/100 audit shows you which bags you can finally drop. Rebalancing your top 10. When you study your list, something else emerges. The top 10. The people who actually define the texture of your life. If they're toxic or neglected, everything else follows downward. Keep those 10 relationships deliberately nourished. Invest time where love and support compound fastest. Weekly phone calls, check-ins, shared rituals, those few hours maintain your core stability. Because when the inner circle is healthy, the outer noise can't penetrate. Upgrading your 50. Your middle circle is the engine of collaboration. Here lives your career network, clients, team, and creative partners. Ask of each, does this person's presence increase my learning, income, or joy? If yes, schedule contact regularly. If no, let distance form without drama. Friendship isn't measured by frequency, it's measured by mutual value. Keep the middle circle dynamic. People may move in or out as seasons change. The outer 100, digital awareness, social media turns the outer 100 into 10,000 ghosts. Every post you scroll, every comparison you digest, every debate you enter is an open tab in your brain. The solution isn't deleting the world, it's curating the feed. Choose to follow who educates, not who envies. Mute without malice. You don't owe constant attendance to anyone's highlight reel. Information is like food. Quality matters more than quantity. The promotion and demotion system. Every 6 months, review your list. Promote new value creators toward the inner circle. Demote chronic drainers gently outward. No announcement needed. Just reduce the attention budget you assign them. It's not cruelty, it's capacity management. People who refuse to respect your boundaries say, you thank the lesson and the symbol system advanced. Next to each positive person, add a symbol for how they help you grow, for money. They expand financial possibility, for wisdom. They challenge your thinking, for peace. They calm your mind. Dash for energy. Dash, they motivate you into action. Your goal is a balanced mix. If all 10 core relationships carry the same symbol, diversify. Too many money talks and you lose wisdom and peace. Too many peace talks and growth stalls. Balance turns your network into an ecosystem and you thank the lesson and invisible connections you can keep digitally. Some influencers don't need your personal time. You can learn from authors, podcasts, mentors online without ever meeting them. They belong in your outer 100 as positive inputs that cost zero maintenance. Add these intentionally. Teachers whose thoughts expand you. That's thank the lesson and move. How the list shifts your focus. Within a week of doing this exercise, you'll notice 2 changes. 1. Your mental clarity sharpens as you stop tracking people who don't matter. 2. Your heart feels lighter because conversations with the right people feel twice as rich. Focus compounds exactly like interest. When you invest it wisely, it starts growing itself. The cost of people who drain you. Estimate the time taken by every negative interaction, the conversation plus the mental replay after it. You'll find the aftershock often lasts 10 times longer than the conversation itself. Stop paying rent for arguments that already ended. The moment you mentally re-argue a scene, you're re-renting the pain. Move out. Digital boundaries to support the formula. Mute group chats that don't feed your future. Check social apps only twice a day. Reassign notifications into batches, not bursts. Every ding steals 1 micro-focus unit. Protect that unit as you'd protect a coin. 1 hour of undisturbed focus achieves more than 12 hours of fragmented attention. Who you follow shapes who you become. If you follow hundreds of people constantly complaining or showboating, you download their emotional code. Curation is character building. Keep voices of clarity, delete voices of chaos. The algorithm is a mirror. Train it to reflect your goals. Transformation through simplification. By now you might realize this formula is less about others and more about you. It forces decision about where you invest wit and warmth. It reveals the difference between relationships of habit and relationships of value. Once you trim the first layer of noise, you'll never go back to random socializing. You'll start seeing people as energy partners, not just contacts. Your calendar and consciousness will finally match. Human connection is sacred, but so is capacity. The goal isn't to collect people, it's to cultivate depth. Quantity creates noise, quality creates peace. Repeat this summary every month as a personal inventory. 10 people to protect, 50 to connect, 100 to respect from a distance. Anything beyond that is just audience, not community. When you organize your network by design, you rebuild something priceless, mental space. And inside that space grows clarity, focus, and joy. That's how you declutter your mind without losing your humanity. Chapter 8. Ideate your day. Plan before the world plans for you. Every day begins twice, once in your mind, once on the clock. The mind version decides whether the clock version works. Planning tomorrow before it arrives isn't boring, it's creative warfare. Ideation is imagination with direction, the blueprint that turns ideas into order. You don't need more hours, you need fewer accidents in how you spend them. Why, most days, start in chaos? People wake up, already, chasing. They open messages, check demands, scroll realities created by others. By the time they remember their own priorities, they're halfway through someone else's plan. The cause isn't laziness, it's missing an evening ritual of ideation. Without predecisions, the day hijacks you. With predecisions, the day obeys you. The brain's 2 modes, creation and reaction. Neuroscience calls them proactive mode and reactive mode. When you plan ahead, you wake in proactive mode. The brain releases dopamine and acetylcholine, chemicals for direction and focus. When you don't plan, you wake reactive. Cortisol leads, stress follows. Which chemistry would you rather begin with daily? Ideation as night before design. Forget morning miracles. They're built the night before. Each evening, give 10 minutes to 3 questions. 1. What must move forward tomorrow? 2. What can wait? 3. What will I enjoy doing? Write 3 primary missions and 2 secondary ones. Handwritten, not just typed. Physical ink imprints intention in memory. Then place the note where you'll see it first in the morning. You've just converted tomorrow from possibility to prototype, the 3-stage planning loop. Stage 1, ideate. Collect options, dreams, tasks. Everything goes on paper, no judgment. Stage 2, curate. Circle only those that return the most value for time spent either through profit, joy, or progress. Cross out the rest. Stage 3, sequence. Order your chosen 3 in execution slots: morning, high focus, midday, collaboration, evening, learning or reflection. This loop takes 10 minutes yet saves 5 hours on average, because every hour spent planning returns 10 hours of clarity. The creative side of scheduling. Planning isn't mechanical, it's artistic. You build something abstract tomorrow out of uncertainty. When you lay out tasks, you also lay out meaning. Think of it like painting time on a canvas before others scribble on it. There's no greater creative act than deciding what your minutes will stand for before they exist. Micro-ideation versus macro planning. Planning is structure. Ideation is spontaneity with a plan. Each night, micro-ideation, 10 minutes for tomorrow. Each Sunday, macro-ideation, 30 minutes for the week. During the week, you execute. On Sunday, you ask whether the strategy still matches your trajectory. It's the same system companies use for quarterly reviews, but applied to individual life. The next 3 moves rule. Chess masters rarely think about the next move, they think 3 moves ahead. Apply that to your schedule. Before ending the day, decide your next 3 moves for tomorrow morning. That simple decision eliminates decision fatigue by half. When you wake, you shift straight into momentum. This also kills procrastination because planning removes the uncertainty that feeds delay. Tools for modern ideation. You can run everything on paper or apps. The medium is irrelevant. What matters is visibility. Suggested tools. Index cards you physically flip each day. A digital calendar with color coding. Green equals growth, blue equals maintenance, red equals react. A plain notes app with a section titled Tomorrow's Idea. Avoid complex project apps unless you run teams. Simplicity preserves momentum. Evening triggers that boost next day performance. 1. Tidy workspace. Visual clarity ensures mental clarity. 2. Choose clothes or resources for morning. Reduce friction to start. 3. Write your first sentence or action for tomorrow's main task, so you begin mid-motion. This practice turns tomorrow into a rolling start instead of a cold engine. The science behind night before preparation. Sleep researchers report that pre-planning shifts REM cycles towards solution-oriented dreaming. Your subconscious keeps working on scheduled tasks while you rest. It's why answers and creative insights often appear in morning showers. Plan tonight, and you wake not just rested, but ready. The cost of morning decision-making. Every choice uses a unit of glucose and willpower. By 10 a.m., most people have spent half their decision budget on minor things. What to wear, what to eat, what to tackle first. Eliminate those micro decisions the night before and you gain an extra 3 hours of prime brain power each day. That's 15 new hours weekly, nearly a full working day reclaimed without waking earlier. Why planning feels hard at first. The first week feels tedious. The reward isn't instant. You might think, I can wing it. But winging it is emotionally expensive. The body prefers predictability. Stress comes from ambiguity. Give your brain 2 weeks to associate planning with freedom instead of restriction. Once you experience how light a planned day feels, you won't return to chaos. The creative ideation menu for Sunday nights run this ritual each week. Light music or calm space. List what worked this week. List what drained you. Note 1 experiment to try next week. A new tool, habit or idea. End with gratitude for any progress. It sounds simple, but it turns time planning into a sacred creative meeting with your future self. Compound effect of pre-ideation. 10 minutes each night equals roughly 60 hours of directed thinking per year. That's a week and a half of design time the average person never realizes they had. That week and a half might contain your next breakthrough, because ideas arrive to those who schedule a door for them to enter. Morning without panic, the emotion of preparedness. Waking up with a plan feels like meeting an old friend, not starting a fight. Confidence isn't a trait, it's a prepared state. Each day well designed creates momentum that feeds tomorrow's discipline. Plan 3 days in your style, watch stress drop by 30%. Plan 2 weeks, the effect doubles. You can't control time until you invent it in advance. Every successful day starts as a sketch the night before. That sketch is ideation, imagination applied to minutes. Don't just hope for better tomorrows, build them today at 10 p.m. Repeat this line as your evening mantra. If I plan my day once, I live it twice. Once in design, once in execution. That's how strategists convert ordinary time into extraordinary freedom. Design tomorrow before midnight and let the world spend the next morning trying to catch up to you.